Good evening. I am Waldi Carbonell of Kawal and Demokrasya, or Soldier for Democracy. I will be delivering this particular episode in English because I want to express my gratitude to the International Criminal Court, the ICC, for their announcement 48 hours ago that the ICC has already found probable cause that may lead to the full-grown investigation and trial of Mr. Rodrigo Roa Duterte, de facto President of the Republic of the Philippines. The arrest warrant may yet save the country from perdition and ignominy. Let me explain. From June 30, 2016, this country has been run under the reign of terror of this guy Duterte, former mayor of Davao. And from day one, his political philosophy of kill, 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 had already been deeply ingrained into the Filipino psyche by no less than his opening or first State of the Nation address, or SONA, when he had been puncturing his speech with a lot of innuendos about his bravado and his tendency and prowess to kill, kill, kill. It will be recalled that the whole country has been abreast with its record of killing from the media manufactured or guided identity of being a dirty Harry of the Philippines. That movie that was popularized by East Clinton by taking the law into his own hands with his famed Smith & Wesson Magnum 44, the most powerful handgun in the world. Well, Mr. Duterte had capitalized on that. I could sense as a media practitioner that he was being shaped by some forces into some kind of a mythical persona or mythical hero that is out to destroy or haunt the bad people or enemies of this country. So his opening statement, his opening State of the Nation had been punctured by this kill, kill, kill philosophy. To quote, he said, "If you destroy my country, I will kill you. If you destroy our youth, I will kill you. If you commit a crime in the country, I will kill you." Always kill, kill, kill. And this practically served as a political philosophy that has gripped the country under a reign of terror. It is for this particular reason now that I would want to state to the International Criminal Court that the arrest warrant, therefore, will save the country from perdition and ignominy. Mr. Duterte has effectively reigned and trampled upon this country by his seeming reckless, his Idi Amin Hitler-like rule in this land. By opening the political arena, he had already cursed no less than then President Barack Obama by calling him a son of a whore, and calling the representative of the United States in America of America to the Philippines, the ambassador Philip Goldberg, a faggot, and this was carried through international media. Of course, he had been doing a lot of things that only fortified Machiavelli's doctrine that if you cannot let the people love you, you must make them be afraid of you. But in Mr. Duterte's case, he did not only make the Filipinos afraid of him, but he also made sure that he was loved and that heads of departments of the government of the Philippines, different branches of government, had always referred to him our beloved President, ang pinakamamahal naming Pangulo. This, of course, led to many other things. It gave him tremendous power over the whole country. He could knock off the sitting Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines by his mere magic wand, by calling upon no less than the Solicitor General of the Republic of the Philippines, invoking a non-applicable law under the quo warranto doctrine in kicking out no less than the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines. This, of course, injected terror into the hearts of everyone. And then when he had masterminded the arrest and the devastation of character of no less than a sitting senator in the person of Senator Laila de Lima, he had called upon his party mates at the Congress of the Philippines to bust her publicly, shame her, made her laughing stock, and then eventually had her arrested and thrown in jail. Up to this time, Senator Laila de Lima, who by all indications in all these legal circles believed that she was wrongfully detained under the trump-up charges masterminded by this hoodlum in the Malacanang Palace, the presidential palace, a hoodlum ruled by a hoodlum named Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Now, after all this and after practically ordering the military as if the whole armed forces of the Philippines is his personal security force, and the Philippine National Police his killing machine, then he ordered the bombing of the only Muslim city in the Philippines, Marawi City. It has to be pointed out here that until Duterte came into the picture, there was never any major conflict that would have served or deserved the bombing of a whole city of the Muslims into smithereens and rubbles. Mr. Duterte, of course, was never questioned, especially by media, because he had, in the first place, in the first 3 months of his stay in the Malacanang Palace, he had effectively bamboozled, terrorized Philippine media by starting to call them names. And of course, it will be recalled that he masterminded the killing of one of the most vocal broadcasters in his hometown or home city, Davao City. And the name of this murdered broadcaster is June Porras Pala. I am quite too familiar with this particular case because I was the one nominated and mandated by the National Press Club of the Philippines when the press club was still free and was an epitome of press freedom into the country. The National Press Club, then under President Antonio, had appointed me to be the chairman of the Press Freedom Council and requested me, designated me, empowered me to lead a probe into the killing of the merciless ambush of June Porras Pala, broadcaster. Mr. Pala, or the late June Pala, was attacked by DDS, or then notoriously known as Davao Death Squad, right near his home while walking from the neighbor's house going home at about 6 o'clock in the evening. A whole magazine of Armalite assault rifle was drained upon his frail chest, and he died on the spot. In my investigation as the leader of the Press Freedom Council, I had already seen the hand of Mr. Duterte, although as an objective investigator or probe team leader, I did all what I could in order to show that I had no bias and that I have zero suspect up my sleeve. Anyway, I experienced being personally terrorized by Duterte when I asked a friend, Mr. Gil Abarico, a veteran newspaperman in the city of Davao, to please arrange my courtesy call to the office of the mayor, Mayor Duterte, before I start my probe. And he was told in no uncertain terms not to let Carbonell come near his office, otherwise he would slap me around. And so, on air, I was told by Mr. Abarico not to go anymore to the Davao City Hall and make good my courtesy call on that September 6, 2003. That was the appointed date when Duterte said that he would make good his promise to slap me around if I come near his office. So I told Mr. Abarico, I said, please advise the mayor not to do that. I carried the mandate of the National Press Club just to probe the death of a practicing popular broadcaster in Davao City. And I was told, he said, well, knowing Mr. Mayor Duterte, he said, I advise you, Brother Waldy Carbonell, not to come near the City Hall anymore because he would really slap you around, he said many times. He would keep slapping you until you fall. And I said, please advise him not to do that because if he slaps me, I will slap him back. And since this was announced in the live broadcast, in the afternoon I was the center of the whole episode of Mayor Duterte's TV show. He had a radio TV show, Gikan sa Masa para sa Masa, or in English, From the Masses for the Masses. That was his radio TV show. And he challenged me to a gunfight. He said, Carbonell, you are a braggadocio right in my city. Well, I'll give you a lesson. I am challenging you to a gunfight, Carbonell. You are allowed to bring 2 extra ammunition clips for your pistol, and I will bring only 2 bullets, and I will kill you. And an even gun jewel. So I was asked on air what would be my reaction, because I reacted rather strongly when I was told that Mr. Mayor Duterte would slap me around if I make good my plan to pay him a courtesy call. Pay him a courtesy call and he would slap me around, so I had to advise him not to do that because I do not enjoy being slapped around by anybody, let alone the mayor of a terrorizing city like Davao City. So when I was asked about my reaction to the gun challenge, I accepted it. I said, I gladly accept the challenge of Mayor Duterte to a gun duel because, one, I like the odds. I was just honest. I am being given the privilege to bring 2 extra ammunition magazine for my Glock pistol, and he would only use 2 bullets in our gun duel. So I said, I accept the challenge. I like the odds because 1 magazine clip of my Glock caliber 40 contained 15 bullets. Plus, of course, I already have one in the chamber. So my original ammunition was already 16 plus 30 extra ammunition. So I said, I like the odds, but I was imposing two conditions. And then he let go of a series of barrage of expletives against me and my mother, calling me names, calling my mother a whore, and all that. And and he said, if you are really brave and you're accepting my challenge, then there are no conditions needed. I said, Mayor, I am not brave. This was, of course, an interactive exchange over his radio program. I said, I am not brave, that's why I will insist on my two conditions. And he unleashed again another barrage of expletives against me and my mother, and he asked me, what were my conditions? I said, one, there are only two conditions in order for me to make good my acceptance of the gun duel challenge. I said, one, first condition, do not use a sniper rifle against me. And he was silent. Number two, if we reach the gun duel area, there must be no proxy gunfighters. And he was silent. And then I knew that I would make good my acceptance of the challenge. And I knew, or I suspected, that this character of a man would cower in the 11th hour, in the last hour of our duel. And the appointed time was 9 o'clock. I was there 10 minutes before 9. And of course, I went there via different roads in order to avoid the sniper. And when I was already in the particular OK Corral-like gun duel area, I kept looking at my watch. I stood there a la Garvey Cooper of the Wild Wild West and waited for the mayor. I waited for 15 minutes and then another 15 minutes, and when the third quarter of the hour was nearing, I called upon one of the reporters who were cowering behind the mobile car of the police to come near me, and I made my announcement when he did. But of course, they were very reluctant in coming near me, lest they will be victimized by a rain of bullets. It never came. Also, Mayor Duterte never came. So I went away after 45 minutes. I went away from the gun duel site, and while I was walking away, I felt that I was the winner, and I declared myself the winner by default. The bravest man, the terror of Davao, did not show up in his appointed time of a gun duel with a visiting newspaperman, author, and poet named Waldy Carbonell. That's me. Anyway, I am expressing this particular gratitude to the International Criminal Court because by issuing that warrant of arrest, the ICC will be saving the whole country from perdition and ignominy authored by this punk, this hoodlum, this terrorist in the country called Rodrigo Duterte. I could hardly wait until the ICC issued the warrant of arrest, because this warrant of arrest will be the saving grace of a whole country under the grip of Rodrigo Duterte. Right now, he had been brandishing, of course, his usual bravado by saying that he would defy the ICC, and he was hinting that his friend Xi Jinping, the President of the People's Republic of China, the leader of the Communist Party of China, and by saying that he, Xi Jinping, would not let him down and that he would do all his best to save his friend Duterte from being arrested. After all, Duterte had given him a country, the Philippines, to rule as a province of China. And so, to the honorable members of the International Criminal Court, I am not very familiar with your names, but let me start by mentioning one name that I remember, Attorney Fatou Bensouda, the outgoing prosecutor of the ICC that has come up with the probable cause and was in the manner already in the process of asking full authority for the prosecutor of the ICC to go ahead and investigate all the other evidences and all the other crimes of Rodrigo Duterte. Again, thank you, ICC. If you release that warrant of arrest, you will be releasing the whole country, the Philippines, from a reign of terror from this modern-day Idi Amin, Hitler-like leader called Rodrigo Roa Duterte. His name may as well be the name of Satan himself. Allahu Akbar. I am Waldi Carmona.
Ang bayan ko'y tanging ikaw, Pilipinas kong mahal, ang puso ko at buhay man sa